In the 90s, increased security in and around the grounds meant that firms took their battles to the surrounding streets and neighbourhoods. In this era of the CCTV camera, the reputation of one firm continued to grow. Meet Tottenham's Yid Army.
Okay, so look, this is the 1990s. You became one of the top boys, yeah?
That's it.
How does that come about, son?
Do you know, being brutal, mate, it just comes about, it comes about through respect, and it comes about through, through my actions over the years, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Weren't no proper moment for you when you thought, right, this is a bit of me, do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you, yeah, about 10 years ago, we had it with Man City on the pavement. I remember someone turning around and saying, mate, that's it, mate, you've done it, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, this is me, do you know what I mean? This is fucking what I'm about, And, and to be truthful, I set out to do that, and set out to bring our firm together, which I succeeded,
Tottenham, a club with traditionally strong links to North London's Jewish community, has a hooligan history going back more than 30 years. In 1974, Tottenham fans were the first to export the English disease abroad, rioting at the UEFA Cup final against Feyenoord in Holland.
But the Yids, where'd that come from?
Yids is something, I'll tell you something, I used to fucking despise that name, yeah? Long time ago, it really gave me the ump. It's one of them things down, West Ham, Chelsea used to go, Yids, you fucking dirty Yids and all that, and I used to find it quite offensive,
Yeah, that's what I thought, that's how I booked it,
But what it was, whereas other firms had like a proper defined name, like fucking, Headhunters, ICF, whatever, we sort of like adopted the Yids. I mean, all the barmaids used to fucking do it in the ground, Yids and all that carry on. And as the firm, progressed, and over the last 10 years, it's got stronger and closer. We have got I ain't just being biased. We've had the naughtiest firm in the country over the last 10 years. And that name has just been adopted.
Your arch rivals, right?
Yeah.
Now, I would say Arsenal. Yeah.
Never
Ain't no, is it?
No.
Ain't no, is it?
Not the firm. No.
Who would it be?
Not this Chelsea.
It's Chelsea. Yeah.
Without a fucking doubt. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And in a way, you know what I mean. I do respect their firm because we've had wars with them for 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking hate Chelsea. Everyone knows that. But I respect them because we've had wars with them for the last 10 years, you know what I mean? They're the only people that have really come to us, you know what I mean? And sort of like, well, we've gone to them all the time, but anyone has given us any competition.
The rivalry between the Spurs and Chelsea firms became headline news when they clashed outside the Ifield Tavern near Stamford Bridge. 200 of Tottenham's firm gathered at nearby pubs, then left at a given time and marched onto Ifield Road.
And Chelsea were at the bottom of the road. It's just something you fucking dream about, really, do you know what I mean? Something I dream about, you know what I mean? Not everyone else does, Give them their due, they stood their ground. But the boozer got annihilated, there was a lot of claret about it, was a lot of, bit messy.
Yeah. It's always been much tougher for the firms and all that, what with the old CCTV and the old bill and all that. How have you got your nut round that?
It's a nightmare, mate. I mean, I got my nut around it, but I ended up doing 3 years inside, didn't I? Do you know what I mean? So I got put away with Tottenham Chelsea. That was all on camera. I mean, it's the operation they used to get hold of me.
Yeah.
Was like something that you see on films. You don't think it happens in real life. I mean, there was old Bill dressed as workmen, carpenters and all that outside West Kensington Station.
What, the surveillance?
Yeah. And then like up above the boozer we met in, it was a camera crew filming the whole thing. And then 2 weeks later, door come off and I copped 3 years. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So yes, but it's on a different level now. The way the old Bill deal with everything is because there's grasses everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how it gets done.
It was over in just 2 minutes, but after hours spent playing back this video, police gleaned enough evidence to jail 7 of the hooligans. An arsenal of weapons, from koshers to CS gas canisters to snooker balls, was found in and around the pub and produced in court.
I will stress though, it's not just for the sake of having a row. It's people that know what they're doing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're having a row with other like-minded people,
Okay.
We're not going in and having a fucking row with kicking someone up in the head because he's wearing a different shirt, or, I despise fuckers like that, you know what I mean?
The situation today as Spurs visit Chelsea, a tense local derby. Are the police in control, or do hooligans still exist in the capital?
CCTV, can't you see the camera loves me?
British British Transport Police oversee the traffic of football fans through London's tube networks on Saturday afternoons. They monitor potential flashpoints, and today, Spurs are visiting Chelsea, an intense London derby, while Millwall were playing at Ipswich. This could throw up problems when they head home to the capital.
In terms of disorder in clubs and in and around grounds, it's largely, there are exceptions to this, but it's largely a thing of the past. Fairly good order is kept at most grounds at most times.
If they're going to have a meet, they will try and fight away from the ground. And one of the reasons they'll try to fight away from the ground is because if they can divorce it from a football-related incident, then it's harder for us to ping a football banning order on them.
But it's becoming increasingly more difficult because the fans are using internet technology to stay in touch, using phones to stay in touch, and to arrange these fights and to arrange this disorder.
Police spotters tracked Chelsea and Spurs fans after the game, and hardcore Spurs have been spotted in central London.
We've seen some of the Tottenham people that we know moving around on the railway system, and we've trawled around the pubs and found a group. That group have now disappeared, and so we're looking to find them again. It's possible that they've gone home, it's possible that there won't be any problems, but we just need to make sure.
Then news comes through of problems involving Millwall fans on the train home from Ipswich.
Well, we're just deploying some officers out onto the platform so we can meet them in, and if the officers who are currently on there wish to make the arrests, we're there to provide support and make sure that everything stays at a suitable level of sensibility.
3 arrests were made for racial aggravated public disorder.
They're going to take them into custody now, and if they're found guilty, they'll be banned from taking part in attending any football matches for a significant length of time. In essence, they've just ruined the World Cup.
Just a week later, Chelsea's visit to Fulham and headlines not seen in London for years.
Now, there were angry scenes tonight as fans invaded the pitch after Chelsea suffered only their 3rd Premiership defeat of the season, losing 1-0 at Fulham.
Today it seems that the threat of football violence still hangs over the capital. Our fascination with the subject has led to books, films, even audiences with, revealing the inside story to these London firms.
I'll do a thing an audience with now, you know what I mean? You know, just have a laugh and a joke, talk about the old days for the people that want to open their eyes on it.
People, that will get off from reading a book like that because they've never done anything like this in their lives, Like people read about gangsters and read about train robberies, but they're not going to go and do something like that in their lives. They're going to go home to their wife and their kids and they're going to do whatever, You go back 100 years, people are fascinated with the underworld, if you like, you know what I mean? Or put the dark side of things,
Now these firms look for the youth element to continue the story. In the case of Tottenham's Yid Army, the mantle passes from Trevor Tanner to the next generation. They've agreed to talk to us if we...
Obviously we've grown up supporting Tottenham, and obviously we've seen sort of rows as we're growing up, and we've always wanted to be part of it. And now we believe that obviously Tottenham Youth is one of the best youth firms in the country.
A lot of other teams, like firms and that, you can just get mugged off by the old a lot, but we were sort of welcomed in, everyone's treated us well, no one's sort of said, oh, we're not welcome sort of thing. There's just a lot of respect there, a lot of respect from Trevor and that.
They've sort of paved the way for us, and now obviously we want to carry on in the same way they have over the last few years or so, and keep the Tottenham firm alive and the best in London.
Football violence provided a rich storyline for the film The Football Factory. Battered. Right here. But the reality for these football firms today is severe bird. Or running up at a police station on match day. I mean, hooliganism still exists, it may always exist. It's just it seems that Big Brother definitely has the upper hand. I think the one thing I've learnt more than anything else about the firms of the 70s, the 80s is you're witnessing a social history of working class culture. It's, the lifestyle, the fashion, I mean, like it or not, it definitely has its place in that history of the capital. And I mean, if you think about it, these former hooligans, They don't need the media to tell their stories. They're becoming authors, they're becoming successful publishers. It's like the lunatics have taken over the asylum. Listen, I'll see you next time on the Real Football Factories, and oi, you mind, there you go.
Fucking Football Factory was the biggest load of old shit I've ever fucking come across. But Danny's a nice fella.